Hey everyone, Kaylin and Christine here from White and Revery, and we wanted to share with you guys 3 tips for working with your spouse or partner.
So the tip... Okay.
Go.
We could ask a lot about this. We've been working together for about 5 years, and it's actually pretty common in our line of work to have a husband and wife team. So we wanted to kind of put all of our favorite tips and tricks into one video for you guys.
The first thing that we recommend is identifying your personality type.
There's a couple different ways that you can do this. 2 of the more popular ways are the Myers-Briggs system and the ENNEAGRAM scale. Our personal favorite is the ENNEAGRAM scale. Kaylin and I feel like we relate the most to that and have found the most success with identifying our personality types. The ENNEAGRAM is just a number scale, 1 through 9, and each number has a personality type attached to it. And we personally like it because of the way that it showcases strengths and weaknesses. You can take a test online to figure out your Enneagram number, but one of our favorite things to recommend is a podcast by the Liturgist. We'll link you guys in the description below, but it's about 2 hours, so just do it on a long drive or on a long flight or something like that and just listen to it.
It's super helpful, yeah.
It's super helpful, and they're really good at breaking down the personality types.
So can you guess what we are? So I am a 1, so I'm a perfectionist or reformer.
This is a really unique personality type in that Kaylin is always looking at the world through the lens of how it can be improved. He's very precise and a bit of a perfectionist, which I find to be very inspiring, but also one of the reasons why our company is always moving forward, always the next level.
And Christy is a 9, which is the peacemaker or a mediator. One of the strengths of a 9 is that she is constantly aware of everyone else and how they feel. That creates a great experience for our clients, and that's why she's in charge of client communications.
So the second tip that we wanted to give you guys is learn to communicate. This is
very important.
Huge. This should be like the top of your list of things. The only takeaway that you have is learn to communicate. One of the biggest parts of this is wording. Wording is everything. It is everything.
To give you an example, Christy is our main storyteller and editor for our company. And so whenever she's done with an edit, she puts her whole heart and soul into it. She's super proud of it. Then she brings it to me, shows it to me. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, this is amazing. But then I'm looking for those 4 things that I'm super critical about. And if I'm not careful...
4 things, hold on.
Okay, whatever. But if I'm not careful with how I word things, it can cripple her for the rest of the day. So if I'm like, hey, here's the things that need to improve without even addressing the positives or giving her encouragement, it can really affect her. So one of the weaknesses of being a 1 is I have to be careful of my wording. And so what I usually do is I make sure that I'm always starting with positive encouragement and that I'm empowering her as an editor so that when I do provide some constructive criticism, then she'll be more accepting of it and it'll make our films better, make our relationship better as well.
And it won't ruin my day.
Yes. So that wording has been super helpful with that.
Another time that wording is really important is when we're actually out filming. So,
like, how do you tell the other person that your shot sucks? But how does it come across well?
I walk up and I see Kaylin is getting a really stupid shot.
Why don't we just reverse that? How about I walk up and you're getting the crappy shot?
It's happened to both of us.
So it happens to both of us. She could obviously say, your shot sucks. I'm going to respond.
In defense.
I'm in defense. And it's going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. This shot is great. We're going to start getting into a confrontation. We're wasting time at a wedding. And then we don't even get a good shot. So say one of us is shooting something horrible. The other person will walk up and say, hey, when you're finished, I have another shot idea. So what that lets them know is that, hey, finish up what you're doing, and then let's also go and get this other shot option. Therefore, when we get to post, we have both options. We didn't waste time with confrontation, and we're both happy. But in all honesty, whenever you say that, you're pretty much telling the other person that their shot sucks. So but it's in a nice way. The third and final tip is to keep your relationship first. It's super important. Your business is not as important as your relationship.
Kaylin and I are Libras. We're almost constantly aware of our balance in life and our relationship and things like that. So this one comes a little easier for us, and I think it would for most people. But it's a huge, huge deal that you're always keeping your relationship first and making sure that that balance is there. One of the big things that I'll note is that occasionally it does get off balance for us. We are normal human beings that have normal problems, and have actually very recently had a major situation as of like a month ago where we realized our work and life balance was completely off. And one of the big things that we did was just jump right in and say, hey, we need to fix this. We need to go and spend a day out in the mountains. We called it like our mental recovery day. And we just did no work and just went for major hikes and made sure that we were keeping our relationship very healthy. We found that our relationship is at its healthiest when we're taking several walks throughout the week. This is just our personal preference.
Yeah, you can
maybe
do it,
yours is brunch or going to dinners or drinks on Thursday nights to just catch up as a couple.
And we make it a rule that during that walk, we cannot talk about anything work related. So that allows us to keep both of those things separate in our lives, our actual relationship and then also business, because that's one really difficult thing for people that are business owners that are either spouses or partners. So.
Another thing that we did was bring a babysitter in. Throwing a baby into the mix for relationships whenever you're working together already is kind of like throwing a cinder block into a dryer. It is crazy and chaotic and a lot of fun, but
very rewarding, yes.
Very rewarding.
Difficult with the business.
It's just one more factor to always be constantly checking up on and making sure that it's balanced really well.
What happens is if you don't keep your relationship first, then your business can even suffer from that down the road, because all the conflict that is not getting resolved or the relationship that's not being strengthened will be pulled into your business. And so it is very important that relationships always first.
So one of the big things that we would recommend doing is just be in constant pursuit of making your relationship as healthy as possible. So like I said, creating free space for you to be working on each other. Maybe another thing to add into that mix is to be referring to resources to keep a healthy relationship. There's a couple of books out there that are really, really helpful for this. I think one of our favorites was The 5 Love Languages. Kaylin and I researched a lot on how to, without words, tell each other that we love each other on a daily basis.
Another resource that we really liked is a book by Rob Bell and Kristen Bell called The Zimzum of Love. We will have links to both of those books in our description as well. But those were some really great resources that helped us to really focus on us and our relationship and how that affects everything else in our lives. So highly recommend checking out those books. If there's other resources that you love and that you want to share, please leave them in the comments section below as well, because we would love to be encouraged and hopefully we can all learn together on how we can become better business people, but also better with our relationships.
So the final thing that I really want to make a huge note on is that working with your spouse and your partner is not for everybody. If you are realizing that your relationship is taking too hard of a hit because of the fact that you're working with your spouse, then you need to always remember that that relationship with your spouse is way more important than your business.
So to recap, the 3 tips that we recommend for a successful business relationship with your spouse or partner is to identify your personality types, learn to communicate well, and always put your relationship first.
If any of you have any tips or tricks or resources that you'd really love to share on how to work with your partner or your spouse, let us know. We'd love to see them in the comment section below. And as always, please subscribe.